Fearless fam, welcome to another episode where we shed light on topics most like to keep in the dark. This is your host Chewy, and today's elephant is a level 5 elephant. Hope everyone is doing well. The next topic is one that I have been putting off, but every year there is something new about it and it has made me even more upset that I have put it off. We will be talking about pedophilia. We all know what it is. But for the sake of education, we are going to be doing a definition. Pedophilia is a psychiatric disorder in which an adult or older adolescent experience a primary or exclusive sexual attraction to pubescent children. Basically, sexual feelings directed towards children. There's a new term they introduced called minor attractive person. Pedophiles may be attracted to young boys, young girls, or both, and they may be attracted to only to children or to children and adults. Doctors diagnose pedophilia when people feel greatly distressed or become less able to function well because of their attraction to children or when they have acted on their urges. Let me break it down even further for you. There are these two terms that are used interchangeably but aren't and shouldn't be used interchangeably, but often people do. According to WK Law Corporation, sex offender and pedophile are two terms that are often used interchangeably, but they have vastly different meanings. A sex offender is a person who has been convicted of a sex-related crime, which may or may not involve a person who is considered a child under the law. On the other hand, pedophile is a clinical term describing a person who has a psychological disorder, pedophilic disorder or pedophilia, that causes the person to have a primary or exclusive sexual attraction to pubescent boys and girls. This term applies whether the person has committed a crime or not, and applies even in cases where the person has not acted upon his or her attraction to children. Despite the distinction, many people believe that all sexual offenders are pedophiles and vice versa. To highlight the difference between a criminal and non-criminal pedophile, a group of self-described pedophiles with no criminal record have begun to adopt the label Virtuous pedophiles. These men and women are attracted to children but refrain from acting on their attraction. I've heard that a lot, that just because they're sexually attracted to children doesn't mean that they will act upon it. But my question is, how should we look at them? Aren't they still pedophiles even though they have not sexually committed the crime? This takes me back to last year of when I saw a YouTube video about a woman on TikTok breaking down pedophilia and pedophiles, and that we should look at it like any other sexual preference, which I personally do not agree with. But who remembers the lady on YouTube who was a professional therapist who says pedophiles do not choose to be attracted to children, and she was condoning this behavior? Like I mentioned earlier, they're saying that a person who is a pedophile is a person who has a psychological disorder, pedophilic disorder or pedophilia, which, okay, if you involve science, I understand that in a clinical sense. But at the end of the day, they're still sexually attracted to children, and whether or not they act upon it will be the cause of how we should treat them, right? But also another issue that is concerning me is the fact that there are flags now that represent the pedophiles, which can be confusing to the LGBTQ plus community. And I say this because the flags look similar to the LGBT community, and that is scary. I'm going to show you some right here real quick, just a pop-up of them. I will eventually talk about what they actually mean, and here are some. So you see the problem with the flags, right? One of them may have reminded you of the lesbian non-binary flag, but we'll get to that point when I'm describing each flag. I do want to share some information I found, and I am actually surprised that is even a thing. This information is by educateempowerkids.org. And I'm gonna put it right as on the scroll so you could yourself go to it and see it right there. Okay? So I will be reading from this website certain things that I found that is very concerning to me. So for example, so we're gonna go with the term MAP. It's an acronym for minor attractive person or people. It's also the name of a pedophilic community who have risen on Tumblr. It was created in order to assemble pedophiles, and epophiles on top of it. The creation of the term is a strategy for them to avoid being identified as predators right away. The community was made to spread positivity about pedophiles and their attraction towards children. The community is a very anti-recovery. So NOP, an acronym that stands for non-offending pedophiles, also a community, pretty much the same thing as the MAP community. So non-offending, in a NOP or non-offending pedophile doesn't interact with children at all or tries their best to avoid them. A non-offending pedophile does not consume child pornography or media meant to mimic child pornography. A non-offending pedophile also doesn't spread positivity about pedophilia or promote pedophilia. Please know that a lot of pedophiles call themselves non-offending regardless of whether they're offended or not in order to avoid backlash. They will also twist words and try to redefine what offending means. They will also twist words. Keep in mind that an actual non-offending pedophile will do their best to avoid all contact with children. A pedophile who purposely interacts with children in any way is definitely offended. Simulated child pornography is a pornographic media that features no real children, but rather what looks like a child in order to simulate child pornography. It legally counts as child pornography despite predators insisting that it isn't as bad. So another term, AOA, age of attraction, is a term used to refer to the age range that a pedophile is attracted to. For example, HEBE file, this term refers to a person who's attracted to minors from 11 to 14. This term, the pedophile, if you're watching this, you can see it on the screen. If you're listening to it, is spelled EPHEBOPHILE, and it is a person who's attracted to minors 15 to 19. An anti-no contact is a term used to describe a pedophile who doesn't touch children in a sexual manner. Please note that no contact is not a synonym of non-offending. Some no contact pedophiles might still interact with children, promote pedophilia, and watch child pornography. Another term is pro-contact, a term used to describe pedophiles or supporters who advocate for sexual relationships between children and adults. So the next term is VIRPed. If you're watching it and if you're listening, is spelled VIRPED, Virtuous pedophile, also a non-offending community. Now, what I'm going to show you next, flags or the symbols that they use and the definition and what they mean. So if you're only listening to this episode and you're not watching it, I will try my best to describe to you the flags, like what colors it is, and then if anything, you can take a snippet on our Instagram when we show the flags. So, for example, the first one that I'm going to show is the map flag, which has a blue, like a greenish, bluish one, yellow, white, then yellow again, and then pink, and then maybe purple at the end. So it kind of looks like that. Um, a flag coined by pedophiles on Tumblr. They made it on Pride Month in hope that the LGBTQ plus community will accept and support them. It obviously didn't work because some people say that they don't want them anywhere near them. So, but still watch for that flag in order to identify them. Obviously, why I showed it, just in case, because obviously it can be confusing for the LGBTQ plus community, and it's dangerous. That's all I have to say. Now, the next flag is called the lesbian map flag. A flag coined by a pedophile on Tumblr who's a lesbian, very similar to the map flag. So this is what the flag looks like. Is like hues of pink on the top, then a middle white line, and then hues of yellow at the bottom. 3 hues of color of yellow. Which looks similar to the lesbian flag. And the lesbian flag is a hues of pink first, like very dark pink, and then at the bottom very light yellow. So that really can get confusing for the LGBTQ plus community youth that are coming up, and they're like, oh, looking at all these symbols, looking at all these flags, and they don't realize that there's a difference, right? Next, I'm going to show you symbols that the map community have made to describe, for lack of a better word, how they feel or how they identify. So, for example, then the first one is this is a blue triangle. So if you're looking at it, it is a spiraling blue triangle framed by another triangle. So it just continues like in a loop if you're hearing it. It's known as the boy lover logo, used by adults who prefer young boys. Note the term boy love can also describe a type of media that features a relationship between two men, two boys. Make sure to use context clues and not attract gay men medias on accident. However, the symbol picture is exclusively made for pedophiles. Now, another symbol, again, if you're watching this, you can see it. I'm going to try to describe it for you if you're only listening. Is for younger boy level symbol. It's a symbol for pedophiles who prefer much younger boys, known as the little boy lover logo. It is also blue triangle spiral, but it's more circular looking, and it's blue. And it is drawn like a child-like scrawl. So if you're looking at it, you see it. The next one is a pink heart for girl lover. It's the girl lover logo in a heart inside a heart type, indicating that the pedophiles prefers young girls. It's pink and it's again like the blue logo that it continues on and on. The next one is a butterfly. It's a child lover symbol. Pedophiles who do not have a preference for gender use the child lover logo, which is a butterfly with 4 hearts, 4 wings. 2 of them are blue and 2 of them are pink, as you can tell in the picture if you're looking at it. Now the next one is the Child Love Online Media Activist logo. Pedophile promotion symbol. This is a Child Love Online Media Activism logo, which pedophiles use as a symbol to promote their cause, and is used in quotation marks very loosely. That sexual relationships between adults and minors should be decriminalized. And the last one that I am reading will be that I'm reading from educatempoweredkids.org is NAMBLA, which stands for North American Man Boy Love Association. The North American Man Boy Love Association is a pedophile and pedastry advocacy organization in the United States and works to abolish age of consent laws criminalizing adult sexual involvement with minors and campaigns for the release of men who have been jailed for sexual contact with minors that did not involve coercion. Please visit educateempowerkids.org for all the information that I just read, so you could read it on yourself, so you could have more of a visual, and let me know what you think about it. So, after reading all of this, I have seen plenty of comments like, they aren't acting on it. What's the problem? Thought crimes don't exist. Plus, they can use fiction and or kink to cope that aren't harming anyone because they aren't acting on it. Or comments like, why should they keep their thoughts to themselves? Why should they stay away from minors? Scientifically proven, speaking asexuality is an attraction. Nobody said children was a gender, but you can be attracted to them, and therefore, boom, a sexuality. Or it continues with comments like, because it's a diagnosis and not something they seek to have or something they can't control, a feeling. So this person commented, since according to what I just read, is paraphiliac, since they are non-offending pedophiles. Fearless fam, there is so much on this topic, but my main concern to this was that they are trying to make it pass as a sexual orientation in the LGBTQ plus community, and I do not agree. I am also seeing people put in their bios on social media MAPS, MAPS, or other acronyms like the ones that I read previously. And I'm sorry, but they're targeting themselves. I'm sorry, but I do not care if they are non-offending. What if they cross their line and they do? I understand that they cannot control their thoughts on what they are attracted to, but that is no excuse. I heard someone say that they can use child porn to cope. First off, child porn is definitely illegal, so that's a no. So that begs the question, is there any treatment for pedophilic disorder? And I did my research, as I usually do, and I did find some treatments for pedophilic disorder. And I did find that with willingness, you can do cognitive behavior therapy, pharmacotherapy, which are drugs that suppress sexual appetite, or the combination of the two. Pedophilic disorder treatment options include medication, hormone, and psychosocial therapies, which are group therapy or family systems therapy. The information was provided by www.tamuct.edu. But it's important to consider how an individual views their inappropriate thoughts and impulses. It is also important to consider any co-occurring conditions such as antisocial personality disorder, substance use disorder, or bipolar disorder, depression and anxiety disorder, or paraphilias. Some of these treatments do not work for everyone. As mentioned before, find a treatment that can work with the person. We cannot obligate anyone to get help if they don't want it. So, Fearless fam, if you need to take a break and come back to this episode, please do so. I know the information can be overwhelming. Let's take a minute to take all of this information in. If you are this far into the episode, then you are still interested in what we have to say. I know this is a lot, but this is what this episode is about and what this podcast is about. We are getting comfortable with the hardest topics out there. So I often hear the phrase love is love used in the context of pedophilic disorder. Adult consensual love is love. Children will never be able to consent. Let's not forget that. I usually do not share my side to a topic, like I never choose or share my actual personal opinion, but this one is one that I am not okay with. I do not want to normalize this. Yes, the science part of it about the brain is understandable. You do not choose it. I'm okay with that. But the one that do choose to act upon their feeling are people I am not willing to excuse, who are using their diagnosis as a scapegoat for their morally wrong behavior. It is not okay. And as part of the LGBTQA plus community, I do not accept this. Children is not a gender. Pedophilia is not a sexual orientation. And that is my stance on this. Pedophilia is a psychiatric disorder, and it should be seen as such, and to find a cure and to find help, a treatment that can help these people. Not normalize it to fit into society and let them think that it's okay that they are attracted to children. And I feel like that is what's happening. Yes, while others are attracted to adults also, I am specifically talking about the children, which is the sickening part, at least for me. I cannot obligate anyone to feel or to think like I do. Whether you like what I said or didn't like what I said, I think we can have a dialogue about it like a consensual adults that we are and discuss it further. Let me hear what you have to say about this. Leave your comments below about what you have to say. I want to hear about it. I want to know your opinion. But to summarize, while I do understand that this is a disorder and people do not choose to wake up and be attracted to children, those that take responsibility for these thoughts and seek help, they're making the world a better place for themselves and for other children. But for those that choose to not want to seek help and have already offended without realizing that they have this disorder, they still have time to seek help. Sometimes it's too late and you already branded as a sex offender, but what you do after that is what will make you a better person. I know this topic is hard, and I know that there is so much to cover that I definitely miss. Like, for example, the people that I cannot escape being around children. Like, for example, the kid who's 14 years old who realizes he's attracted to his younger sibling who's 5 or 6. See, situations like that you are 100% cannot get out of the situation, and you don't know what to do. I understand those situations, and I know that obviously everybody's situation is different, and how to address it from there is the hardest part. As long as the individual is willing to seek help, I feel like we all can coexist. There are other examples, but way too many to address, but you all get the point. But before I end this episode, I want to share some resources for you all. If you know someone that needs help, please share these resources with them. ASAPinternational.org, Association for Sexual Abuse Prevention, is a therapy and support network for non-offending pedophiles. It helps you find a therapist that specializes in this in your area. Virtuous Pedophiles, VIRPED.org, an organization dedicated to prevent of child sexual abuse, and it includes helpful resources for pedophiles who wish to avoid offending. StopItNow.org is a program that attempts to prevent sexual abuse against children by educating the public and encouraging people with pedophilia to seek treatment before offending. If you're watching this and you have more resources, please feel free to leave a comment below. Share the knowledge. So my final thought on this topic is that we should all come together to learn about what pedophilia is and how we can help, and what other resources we can share with the people we know. I know it can be difficult and hard to understand, but we are living in this world where there is so much going on. We do not know where to start. Fearless fam, if you have any more information, if you have any resources, if you know anyone willing to share their story about their pedophilic disorder, please contact us. Leave a message, a comment. Let us know your thoughts on this topic. Well, Fearless fam is coming to that time on the episode. And remember that each purchase from our website proceeds go to the organizations that help the community to bring resources and help other pedophiles seeking help and treatment. We also donate to various organizations that help the LGBTQIA plus community. We try our best to give back as much as we can. I know I say this a lot, but every episode, depending on what episode it is, we do donate to that organization for that episode all the time. If you stayed this far into the episode, we truly appreciate it. If you like what you heard, please share, subscribe, and follow us on other social media platforms. I know I usually say this, but I appreciate all of you for your help and support. Thank you all, and like I always say, stay fearless, everyone.